Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of the Exploring Nollywood podcast. We are talking about acting, good actors, bad actors. We're trying not to be shady.
Yes.
We haven't succeeded, but let's get on with the episode. Let's talk about bad acting.
Oh my God, Marianne. Are we about to go there?
But for this podcast, we
Yes.
will not be naming names.
Yes. We don't want a repeat of what year did that happen, Marianne?
Well, yeah.
When they came for you.
Oh my God. Guys, they said I look like burnt offering. For the
Okay.
purpose of this podcast, we will not be mentioning
We shall
names.
not name names.
We will hint, but we will not mention names.
We shall let you make your own judgment.
Exactly. In the bag.
We'll make you make your own judgment. So if anybody wants to come for anybody, it's you they'll come for, not us.
But what makes a bad actor?
Someone that can just not act. And the saddest part is, in as much as we have so much fantastic actors in Nollywood, we have a lot of people that shouldn't even listen. Not everybody is meant to be an actor.
It sounds harsh, but it is so
It's
true.
just the sad truth. People, you have a passion for filmmaking, yes. You don't necessarily have to be the actor. You can be a DOP. You can be a sound person. You can be a director. You can be a makeup artist, costume, continuity. It's not by force for you to say, I want to act, I must act.
Some people just cannot. This is not even acting a challenging or a hard part.
Nope.
Just act as a whole.
How to differentiate someone that can act and someone that can't act? Someone that can act is aware that the camera is there, but that doesn't change them.
What do you mean?
Okay, so as an actor, someone that can really act, you're acting, going about, you're reading your lines and stuff. You know the camera is there, but you don't change. Like, you don't put up the persona because the camera is there. Yes. But somebody that cannot act, once the camera is there, you make
They are very aware of it.
that we know that the camera is there. Like, you're super aware.
And it shows. It shows so much. Lack of confidence also comes across as bad acting. When you're not confident, in yourself, or confident in the character that you're acting,
or even your environment. That is a very good point. Yeah,
lack of confidence is also part of lack of ability. Actor, and you're just the same in every single film.
It becomes jarring and boring.
It becomes really bad. That is bad acting. You need to give it something else. And I think this is where charisma and stage presence builds into the craft.
100%.
If you have charisma, if you have stage presence, and you are acting the same, it cannot be the same vibe. If you have that, even if you are a bad actor, but you have stage presence, you have charisma, you can rely on that to give it a different feeling. But if you don't have any of these things and you don't know how to act, it's going to show.
Exactly. Another person that we didn't mention about this whole thing, I feel like her and Mr. Johnson are sort of on the same level, but it's only that Mr. Johnson is obviously English, she's Yoruba. It's Funke Akindele.
Yes. Funke Akindele gets props, but she needs bigger props.
That is the thing. She needs very bigger accolades. She really does. Because going back to our point of acting the same role but making a difference, that's Funke's specialty.
It is.
She can manage to make a difference, at the same time manage to make it unique to herself.
Like, let's talk about Jennifer. Yes, she created Jennifer. Jennifer is such a big brand.
That's the thing. This came off one movie. That's what people fail to understand. Most people don't even understand where Jennifer came from. They thought Jennifer comes from Jennifer Diaries. No, Jennifer came from a movie, but because she did justice to that role, she was able to then take that role and make it into a brand.
It is now part of Nigerian Nollywood culture. In fact, not even Nollywood itself, it's beyond Nollywood. But yet she can still melt back into
any role you see her. Exactly.
Is it like a very sophisticated lady? Yes. Mm-hmm. Someone who's being bullied? Yeah. She can do it all. And that, I think, yes, comes for stage presence and confidence.
That's somebody that's confident in their body, confident in their craft, believe in their craft. That's another thing that makes a good actor that we forgot to say. Somebody that actually believes in themselves.
yes, that believes that they can act. Even if you
Exactly.
cannot act, if you believe you can act, it will be acting.
That's the thing.
I think this feeds into a lot of things, but natural.
What do you mean by
So
natural?
it needs to be the your speech, your bearing needs
Oh
to be
God.
natural. But you
What?
know, the most natural person I've ever seen act,
Mm-hmm.
Majid Michael.
Major Mike, Major. Oh my God. Oh, 100%.
He
Major
is,
Michael, Rita Dominic.
oh yes,
Major Michael and Rita Dominic, both of them. Oh, like Major Michael's voice when he talks is just like music to my ears.
every role is different.
Oh, Major Michael is someone else that I feel like he doesn't get a quarter of the accolade he deserves.
Right?
That's another thing. That's what I keep saying about somebody.
But you know what? Let's segue into Ramsey Noah, man.
I was gonna
Ramsey
Ramsey
Noah,
Noah.
you know what's so ironic? We're supposed to be talking about bad acting, but we keep bringing up good actors.
No, but it all feeds into each other. So what we were talking about before, we're talking about actors that they make you believe their crafts now, and
Ramsey
we're talking
Noah.
about voice and how an actor's voice can obviously make or
Yes.
break the role. Now we have a couple of actors in Nollywood and Ghana industry that they put up a false accent. The moment you put up a false accent, that is a no-no. Attracted by the accent.
Old Nollywood and that accenting.
No, we have to give it to Hanks and Oko. We have
Ah,
to give it to Gentle Jack.
chemistry. Oh my
Chemistry.
God,
Yes. How
chemistry,
can we leave chemistry till last?
which is the most important type.
Important.
If you don't have chemistry with anybody, don't act.
You know, this is why I will forever stand the relationship or the acting level between R&D and Stella Damasos.
Do you know all the baddest couples of those days? Oh,
Yes.
RMD and Sada Massos, yes.
Who was Jamaica paired with? Jamaica and Tonto DK mainly.
Sometimes. No, but Totally Case to play
Bad
the
girl.
bad girl
And
part.
Jamaica
So
was playing the
bad girl
bad
and
boy.
bad boy cannot meet.
No, but that's the thing. Even though in real life they're meant to sort of have some sort of qualms or quarrel, but you can always see that connection between both of them on screen.
Ramsey Noah and Genevieve.
Ramsey Noah and Genevieve, Love is Blind.
Chemistry between actors, chemistry with the rest of the crew,
True. Mm-hmm.
and chemistry with directing, because that's also very important.
Absolutely.
I think those days when we were younger, we used to have like so many battles. Oh, Ramsey Noah and Genevieve versus
Of
Ramsey
course.
Noah, or
Love
Jamaica
story.
and Tonto DK versus Jamaica and who else?
It was Jamaica and Tonto DK. Yeah, it was
Jamaica and
all
Rita
Jamaica.
Dominic, Stella Damascus and RMD and Genevieve.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pairing. Those pairings were hot. I find that nowadays you don't have, well, I think that comes from having a bigger industry than it was before. I mean, in those days there were only so many people that were acting.
That's very true.
Now that we have a variety of actors in new Nollywood,
I think back in old Nollywood, like you said, it was only limited. We only had a number of actors. But now in new Nollywood, there's so much diversity in the sense of actors.
even I think as a result of more versatile stories as well, because
Yes.
most of the movies of those days were love stories, but now you're having things like The Arbitration, which is about business plans, or
Nollywood
yeah,
went through a
yeah.
phase where for I can't pinpoint the exact year, but I think it would have been in probably 2002, from 2000 to 2003, where they made specifically love films. Like you said, we had Love is Blind, we have Love is War, we had so many love films then, and then they went shifted from that to making films with the wicked mother-in-law.
When we speak about the trends of Nollywood,
Mm-hmm.
that's also going to be another long video.
Of course. But that's one thing that makes Nollywood Nollywood today, because we set the trends for ourselves and we follow the trends. And people from other countries are starting to follow the trends that we're setting.
While we're here, let's talk about historicals. And I don't mean historicals like village type ones, but actual historicals. For we don't usually make films about the period the 19th century ish.
Oh,
When we do village films, they're always from a time before colonization. And I'm really grateful to New Nollywood for introducing it to us in a way that isn't, those days when they were doing olden days type thing, it would be with Afro wig and bell bottom trousers and platform.
Yes.
Well, New Nollywood
Yes.
is actually really bringing up a lot of these historical films, the ones set in. So,
Right.
for example, we went and saw that amazing
We're in 1976, 76.
1976 with Ramsey Noah and Rita Dominic, and it was so.
Marianne, it's called 76, so it's not 1976. You don't hear me trying to use that to correct
I
you.
think, yeah. And it was set in 1976, and it was going away
Mhm.
from just putting Afro wig and bell bottoms and platform shoes. They actually went and paid attention to detail, making sure that everywhere the
Props.
styling, the housing, the dressing, the locations looked like it was from that era, or it tripped us. It tripped us.
It really did. And the thing is, I can say like from 2014 was when this revolution
Yes,
started because we started to see them make films about our
yes,
culture. For example, Invasion of
beautiful.
1897, that was filmed in 2014 and that spoke about the Benin Empire and how artifacts were stolen. We also have films like Somewhere in
Which was so
Africa,
good.
that was a 2011 film with Major Michael. We have Iyore. Iyore was also
Mhm.
2015. And all these films, one thing most of them have in common is they have actors that are able to diversify
Oh,
their roles.
you
People
forgot
like
you
Rita
forgot the
Dominic,
most important one. The Baba of all historicals, October 1.
October
Guys,
1.
please
Thank
go
you
and
very
watch
much.
that film. It is beautiful.
If you haven't seen that film, guys, let's actually talk about October 1 and how that was such a huge stepping stone for
Well,
Nollywood.
first of all,
Yes.
cinematography. Oh my God.
Not just only cinematography, Marianne. Let's look at the props.
So,
If there's one thing that I can say Nollywood film needs to improve on most is props. But October 1st came and snatched everyone's edges off.
it did.
It ripped off everyone's edges in the sense that every single thing they did, even up until the uniform,
Mm,
the logo on the uniform was from the
attention to
era that they were trying. Pardon?
attention to detail.
Exactly.
And of course, this is an acting episode, and we have to in these historicals, especially, we have to talk about the acting. First of all, they
Mhm.
the actors are able to capture that feeling of those years, able to
Exactly.
perfectly translate it to screen. And I feel we don't do enough of these movies.
We
These
really don't. Nowadays, Nollywood is mainly, or what they try to portray is comedy,
so
comedy,
rom-com,
yeah,
rom-com.
witty comedy, rather than actually things that we can learn from. Because look at 76. Another thing that tripped me most about that film is they had actual
Yes.
footage
Oh,
from 1976. Okay, guys, another thing that me personally, as someone that loves making films and is
mhm.
into films, I like to see films that I can either learn things from, not necessarily learn something to improve my life, but films that I can be educated
Educative
from.
films.
For example, yes, educative films. For example, like we mentioned, October
Mm.
1st, in line with what I studied, in line with forensic science, as a forensic scientist, I could see certain points that they were trying to make. Yeah, other films, like Somewhere in Africa, it talks about the dictatorship that
Mm.
happened in
Oh,
Africa. Now, let's talk about other issues that we face that a lot of people don't necessarily feel like I'm going to make a movie about it. And this is why I would always have so much respect for this woman named Stephanie Okereke.
okay.
Stephanie Okereke was the producer and director of
And
Dry. If you haven't seen the movie Try, I honestly recommend, especially if you're a
yes,
lady, I honestly recommend that you go and watch it because Dry talks about the issues that we face in the northern part of Nigeria that nobody talks about. And guys, the acting in that film,
mm.
I cried.
But
I cried because I thought, wow, not only did I connect, this is another thing about acting. If an actor is good, you feel like the storyline of that entire film is somehow happening in your
yes,
life.
you can relate to it.
Ties
Guys,
that bind. The one where
I've talked about
sorry, carry on.
Ties That Bind before. It's my favorite film. And well, I talked about all the other things about it, but the acting of Motala in that movie. Oh,
Another thing I have to say is key, Mary. Giving your actor the right tools and props for them to
yes.
shine
But I find
is key.
I would make the argument that a good actor outshines bad directing,
A good actor outshines
bad
bad
directing,
directing.
bad location,
Yes, a good actor does.
a bad story, in fact.
Not in all cases. Depends on what storyline you're trying to tell.
Well, let's say, okay, let's imagine a generic Cinderella story and
Mm-hmm.
lackluster directing, just someone that says, just go there and talk. If that person is a good actor, if that person is, okay, you know what? Let me even quantify if that person is a great actor, you'll be glued to that movie. But
Yes.
I think I do have to take it back a bit. That person cannot just be a good actor. That person has to be a great actor, someone who's able to shine despite everything.
And exactly. And now, how many people are able to do that? That are coming from New Nollywood?
That is, I think. Well, I won't call sometimes I won't call them bad directing. And this is the thing, while the storytelling and the acting and the storylines are so sophisticated, I feel like in drawing out the full potential of an actor, I feel like Nollywood still has ways to go.
We do.
Think Chidi Chikere in those days and his movies, he was able to bring up so many good actors. So an actor that would be okay in another film, but then when he's directing the film, that's when they really start to shine. So I do agree with you when you
Mm-hmm.
say that it does take it need we need not better directors. I think directors that are not focused on the storyline, that are focused on the actors.
Thank you.
Hmm.
To people like Desmond Elliot is also
Oh,
capable of
Desmond
doing
Elliott
that.
is so great. I remember when he first started directing films and we're all blown
Yeah.
away.
Yes.
Like,
And most people now forget that he used to be an actor, and all they remember is he was a
but he's a
director.
good director.
Or he is a director.
Being an actor and being a director actually intersect. But when we talk about directing, people like Desmond Elliott, people like Kunle
Mm-hmm.
Afolayan, all these people were actors
Yes.
before they were directors. And it
Directors.
shows. Blinking the eye.
Not blinking eye, Marianne. Lack of eye
Both of
contact.
those, just eyes in
Yes.
general. I feel like as an actor, your eyes are so important. There are some actors that their eyes are dead inside. They're like, when you're
Oh,
like, is this person?
if someone is talking to you and they're trying to get across a
Mm.
serious information to you, and if their facial expression is blank, you won't take them seriously. When I mean blank, I mean your lips are just barely moving. Your cheeks. How can someone's face be blank?
You know what? You know that's even the hardest skill ever. Because even if you're a bad
It
actor, your
is
face must change.
serious.
Luckily for us, that's less of an issue.
It's less of an
You
issue
know,
in Nollywood because everything the person is going through, you will see it on
or
their
you should
face.
see it. But eyes, dead eyes, blinking too much, not blinking enough.
Marianne, I'm going to ask you a
Okay.
question now. Yeah. I am the sort of person that I am pro creativity, pro
Okay.
talent. You don't necessarily need someone to sit down in a classroom and certify you for you to have
I
your
definitely
degree or for
agree
you
with
to
that.
have. But in acting, I contradict myself in two ways because there are certain things that you learn in acting
Okay.
class that you having the mere talents wouldn't necessarily show.
Oh, that's an interesting point. What do you mean?
Because in an acting class, they would draw your attention to your facial
Mm-hmm.
expressions. They would draw attention to your body language.
True.
For example, there are two emotions that are very hard to
Mm.
fear and confusion.
Also, drunk.
Drunk, yeah, especially fear and terror.
Mm.
Because if you give too much when you're trying to portray fear, it becomes
And it
terror.
becomes really
If you
silly.
give too little, exactly. If you give too little when you're trying to portray terror, it becomes fear.
True. Oh wow.
Just
Sis came with the
I
receipts.
girl, and this is why sometimes I feel like no matter how creative, no matter how talented you
Mm.
are, you still need to go to certain lengths to polish your act.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. Let's use Adesuwa
Yeah.
Itomi for example. Adesuwa Itomi she has, but her talent is so good that you can tell she has refined it.
Yes.
And what I mean by refining it is she went to school for acting.
And it shows. You know what? Sometimes with acting, less is more. And some of the more experienced
100%.
actors definitely know that less is even, yeah, we do say that we are loud and proud, but there is such a thing as
Mm-hmm.
overacting and over.
Overacting is a major killer. Okay, let's go back to YouTube
Oh,
videos now, and why YouTube videos sometimes are not as classed as, are not highly rated as Iroko or Netflix. One of the major reasons is overacting.
so, and noise.
Noise and overacting. You can be angry as somebody and not
Mhm.
raise your voice as somebody. This is where experience and being comfortable in
Yeah.
your craft comes in. Because I understand that Nigeria as a country is very
Mm-hmm.
loud. I get that. But you screaming when there's a microphone amplifying your voice makes the whole thing sounds like
You know
noise.
who have think about it. Have you ever heard Patient Zoko scream? Like actual screaming?
My teacher showed me an
Mm-hmm.
example of how to scream without
Yes.
screaming. If you're trying to scream, don't use your voice to scream. Let your body language do the
Thank you.
screaming.
That screaming does not equal emotion. Overacting is big. But then let me ask you this question. Where does the line between acting and overacting lie in Nollywood?
What do you mean?
We are any newcomer to Nollywood would think, oh my God, these people, all they do is shout, they overact and everything. But we are saying that's who we are as Nigerians. However, the question is,
Mm-hmm.
where does that line then lie between overacting and actually being Nigeria or actually being a Nollywood actor?
Okay, this is very important in the sense that when you leave Nigeria and you live in another
Mhm.
country, you're more aware
That's true.
of noise and sound
That's true.
pollution. What we might see as being extremely loud in a movie, someone who lives in
Okay.
Nigeria will probably not see it
That's
that
a
way.
good point.
Hunting is 24/7
Yeah,
in
so
Nigeria.
combine honing with just the general noise of people, combined with
And
shouting,
generators.
generators, and all these sound pollution. But
It's not
overacting
easy
is
to
not only
explain.
voice though. Overacting, oh my God, overacting with their body. Every single word that they're saying corresponds to a movement in the so it's so I really wish they wouldn't do that. YouTube films, most especially. What about new Nollywood? Old Nollywood, we've said yes, overacting. We've said overacting, language and accents. Mike, I'm looking at you. What about new Nollywood? So we're saying new Nollywood acting, it's more versatile, it's more nuanced. So
And
what does bad
yeah,
acting in new Nollywood look like?
bad acting in New Nollywood looks like underacting.
What do you mean?
Let me explain it. Okay, if I give actor A a
Mm-hmm.
role, because actor A already knows in their head that, okay, I'm good, I have so amount of shoots
Mm-hmm.
lined up, I don't need to give my all, I can just do mediocre.
And
That's what actor A is thinking. Now, actor A is meant to work with
yeah.
actor B. Actor B is also thinking, yeah. So having actor B think the same, when they are on set, they don't need to. Both of them will realize that, hold on, I don't need to give
Mm-hmm.
so much. I can just do my mediocre. And because they're both going to do mediocre, they're not going to challenge themselves to do justice to the
Mm-hmm.
character.
That's it. Challenging. Just come there, do a passable job, and then it's okay. Because I think
Exactly.
also because in new Nollywood we are trying to take a step away from old Nollywood. Therefore, any over no, I don't want to say overreaction. They will try their best to not be old Nollywood. So no shout, no overreactions, no exaggerations. How could we
Mhm.
forget energy?
Oh wow. Coming from the queen that always talks about energy every single time she's
I
reviewing a
know.
film. Look, Miriam, we've been beating around the bush, tapping on energy, but we never
That's
said the
so
word
true. Oh
energy.
my God. But we forgot the closest ones to our heart. The one that when me and Yinka are watching a film, what's the first thing we say, Yinka? These
Energy.
people don't have energy.
We need
Yinka, you know
energy.
who I'm talking about. There is
Oh,
an
oh.
actress that is famous. There's an actress that unfortunately for her, I don't know whether it's her face or her general demeanor, but that woman does not have any type of energy at all. It doesn't matter that
None
it does. I don't
whatsoever.
know if she can act or anything, but she's just like this general. But it's like she sucks all the energy out of any scene she's in.
Sometimes you just want to
Yes.
shake her. You just want to shake her like, come alive, come alive.
All the other things we've said, good acting, bad acting, energy. A bad actor that has energy is so much better than a good actor that has no energy.
Of course.
I think energy also is also part of chemistry.
It all links together.
A film, just a general film, needs to have energy. I think that's something that old Nollywood did very well.
I can put my hand on my chest and say right now that there is not even one old Nollywood film
Has
that
no
I can
energy.
say they didn't give me energy. Yeah, because they brought
Yeah.
110%
Every
energy.
single one of them had energy.
Like there is no film that she has been in. There's something about her. She has
it.
that star quality, number one. There's just something special and unique about her. And again, that's another person that is not recognized as much
Yeah.
as she should be.
So tell me, Nka, what do you want to see from actors in these new Nollywood times?
I want to see people actually embrace the craft. Acting, being an actor is not just about you going and set and acting. No, it's about the creativity that comes with acting. That's what I want to see. I'll give you an example. We spoke about the movie 76, yeah? And we were fortunate enough to go for the UK premiere. And Ramsey Noah said that he had to lose weight. He had to train like mad and lose weight to be able to play the role that and he played it so well. Same thing with Richard Dominic. I want to see actors go beyond on stage acting, on screen. Another example is the setup, Netflix. People like Adesua had to train for that film. That's what I want to see.
More challenge,
I want to see it because once that impacts your lifestyle, it's all about selling the package, selling the dream.
More take acting to a different level because actors basically make Nollywood.
CGI can only do so much.
Nollywood should let go of CGI. We don't need it. Well, before we leave, I do have one final thing to say. A lot of our childhoods, our teenagehoods, our adulthoods is so affected by these actors. Like when we were children, we would be watching Ramsey Noah, Romance, Regina Askia. We watched so many things, and I feel like that had such an effect on our childhoods. And then as we grew up, we started watching new Nollywood. Nowadays, we are watching Adesoa Tomi in Wedding Party. We're watching Osi Okoje type times almost all the films. I feel like we should pay some sort of respect to those actors and actresses because they made our childhood. And you and I, we want to go into Nollywood. Like there has to be a reason, and it was those actors. What I would really like to say is a big thank you to all the actors and actresses of our youth, current, future.
Yes, all the actors and actresses that made our childhood, adulthood, everything special. We thank you so much. To the actors want to be who are currently thinking, how am I going to make it? Keep believing in your dream. I'm very sure one day the world will know your name. And to our lovely listeners, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. And thank you for your support. And I hope everyone is keeping safe and healthy during this challenging period.
Guys. See you in the next part where I interview a guest. I'm really excited.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.